Okay, welcome along everybody to today, the fifth session of our ArchiCAD BIM Jedi Masterclass. Coming at you again today from St. Petersburg, where it's a nice -20. So today's session we're going to look at schedules and how we use schedules, or how we can use schedules, how they can help you make your job easier, faster, more accurate. Also how to take a schedule and export it to Excel and import back from Excel revised data that's been manipulated by someone else, maybe another consultant or someone else in the office doing a specialist part of the project, and show how that data comes back into the model, so that you don't have to go through the model sometimes element by element and changing everything in an object. So to start, if we just go and have a look at some properties, the property manager, when we're going to create our schedule, we'll be looking for some various properties. Now, I think it was in ArchiCAD 19 or 20, can't remember exactly which one this came in, but we now have the ability to in addition to the IFC properties, to add our own properties in the property manager. So just go through that again where we've got that. So it's options and property manager, and that brings up the screen here. Don't ask me what any of this is, I have no idea. But basically I know this one here is the fire rating, sound rating, various other things. We can set all manner of data we can set up in this area. Materials for the floor, materials for the ceiling, maybe wall finish types if the walls are consistent throughout a zone, or we can set it to the particular wall. So like if we go to this one here, this is a fire rating. We can come in here, we can give our options a name, we can create some new ones down here. We can tell it what type of data set it will be. So in this one, we've set it up as an option set. So we've got some basic parameters that we can choose from and nothing else. So we couldn't put 0, in this case, we couldn't put 0 minutes fire rating because it's not an option. All we've got is this Mara Telematon, which is something like it's not decided yet or something like that. So we can set that up. So maybe if we put it here, we could actually add, if we needed that value, we could put here 0 in here. And because that's up there, we can add that, and we can add OK. So now if we look at our option sets, we've got 0 minutes in here. We can use that. Option set, we've done that. Okay, so then also down here is the availability for classification. So this is where we tell it that where we want this property to be used, and what sort of elements in ArchiCAD it can be related to. So here we've got a choice of relating it to everything, or none, or a custom set. So in this case, we've got windows, roofs, floor coverings, slabs, doors, various other bits and pieces, zones, interior ceilings, stairs, pillars. So again, we can come in here and turn on and off all the things that we want those properties to be able to be assigned to. And the classification manager is if we're using any of these additional classifications categories, but we won't worry too much about that for now. So we'll take this basic property manager setup as it is, and we'll work from here. What we'll do is we'll just look at things like our fire rating and our sound rating requirements on some elements in this file that we've got here. Now, unfortunately, the file I wanted to use was a bit more complex, had a lot more information in it, but I was having problems getting it to actually work and cut it down so that it was fast enough to use live. So I've just got a smaller file here that I've been working on recently with Antonino in the office. So there's some basic walls. This is an existing floor plan of a school. So I've got the basic walls set up, existing windows, existing doors. I've turned on all of the door labels. So I haven't actually gone through and we particularly labeled any of these. They're just whatever they were in the model. But I have quickly changed the windows here so we've got some order. We can see a few things happening when we come into the model, into the schedules. So first of all, we want to create a schedule. So we come down here into our project map, shoot down to schedules. So we've got 3 types of schedules: elements, components, and surfaces. They do 3 slightly different things. Elements will allow us to create a schedule of elements within ArchiCAD. So, you know, walls, doors, floors, slabs, roofs, anything that we place as an element, as an item. Then components, we can make schedules out of components. So things that we've put in to make up the walls and things like that. And then for surfaces, we can create some schedules based on surfaces. So, you know, surface finishes, square meters of wall finishes, surface schedules, all those sorts of things. But today, I think we'll just concentrate on the elements type of schedules. These seem to be probably the most useful. So to create a schedule, we will click on, we will right-click on elements and go to new schedule. Now we can give this new schedule a name and an ID. So we'll just call it WS01 for now, and we'll just call that all schedule. We're going to be looking for, we'll create a new scheme, and we're going to be looking for elements. So we go OK. So it shows up in here. We've got our new WS01 wall schedule here. And on the right-hand side, we've got the criteria and the fields that we're going to be searching on and wanting to output from this schedule. So if we just go to add criteria, now we can choose what sort of criteria we want to assign to the element. So we can fine-tune our selection of elements in, you know, a huge array of ways here. So by the start, we can choose from an element type. So we can double-click on element type. It will bring it across into the criteria here. And we can start off by choosing, so element type, we can choose whether it is or is not something. So if we just go is, and then you click on here, and we've got all the types of elements we can choose. So maybe in this case, we just want to choose walls, okay? The walls. And then we can actually get quite complicated, and we can make some sort of like if and then type equations and really fine tune. So we could have a bracket. So if we could say the element type is a wall, and then add another one. So if we go down to, where are we, layers, is that in there, model view. So we could say this is a wall that is on the layer and on this thing there in Rakane Kantava, and is on Rakane Kantava. So then we can set that as a subset if we want. We could even then add something else, or as a wall, or, and then we can come in here and we can do an and an or an or thing. So we could say, or it is on another layer. So maybe we'll do something on there. So yeah, so if you're looking for something that might be on 2 different layers or different types of things, maybe you've got slabs and roofs used for your external roof, maybe. So you want to find, and they're on the same layer for some reason. So you want to find all the slabs or the roofs that are on a particular layer. So we'll just get rid of that one for now. So we'll click remove. So take the brackets off. We don't need the brackets. Right, so we've got the criteria at the moment. So we're going to look for all walls that are on the layer Rakane Kantava. Now, what do we want to show? So we come down here and we can add fields. So we can start off with just some general information. Everything from 2D cross-sectional previews, plan previews, axonometric views, 3D links, area, materials. So if we click any of these buttons or any of these options, our schedule will spit us out an answer with what the answer to this is, or what its parameter is set at. So in this case, let's go and what do you want to do? Issue ID, no. We want to find so we'll add the no, that's not what I want. I wanted the element ID. That's what I want there. So we'll just remove the external ID. And one other thing that I wanted to put onto the schedule was that we're going to look for walls that are on the layer Rakane Kantava and that are on the second floor positioning. On the second floor. So if we go to home story, where are we? There, right? Oh, sorry, not second floor. On this floor we're on here, 0.1 Kalari. So now we're going to show its element ID. We will then choose all sorts of things that we can choose here. So on our wall we can choose, we can get it to show us the air skin thickness, the area of the wall, combined width of doors, windows, materials, geometry method, inside face surface, inside slant angle, number of columns, number of doors. It's just a whole heap of information. So if we're looking for anything in particular, we can set up any sort of schedule here that we want. But what I really want to do here is come back down to the property. So we'll close that off. So we want to come down to the properties, and we want to pull the fire rating and the sound rating properties up. And just for a couple of others, so we can show something. If we go, just add in, say, the area of the wall as well, and what else could we go? Maybe the length of the reference line. So that's just the distance of the wall along the plan view. So we'll just arrange these so that that's up there, that's up there, and we'll see why later. Another thing we can also do, if we really wanted to, is we can create groupings and summings of various things. So if we were like doing a schedule where we wanted to count all of the wash hand basins in the building, maybe there were 4 or 5 different types, we could actually come up with, we could group them and sum them. So it will say that there's 125 of type 1, 15 of type 2, 23 of type 4, etc. So now we've got our basic schedule set up. So we click on OK. And that schedule has gone into the list of schedules over here. So we can click on that, wall schedule, and this brings up our schedule. So this is brought up a whole lot of stuff. Okay, hold on, there's something wrong with my schedule here. If we go back to scheme settings, so sorry, we've got element type is all types up here, so we've got it in twice. So if we just remove all types, now we only want walls of Rakani Kantaba on 0.1 Kalari. So if we go OK, it now gets rid of all those doors and windows. What? Hold on, the element type is wall, and we had the or in there. So now we go back to an and there, and we've got OK. Right. So now we've got all our walls listed here, only walls on our layout Rakani Kantaba, and only on layout story 1 Kalari. Now we can tidy up this to make it look better, especially with the headings and stuff. We can adjust individual lines, line depths to fit the text in, or we can make them wide and it will wrap just like in Excel. So now we have a basic schedule. We've got listed of all our walls, so it's got the ID there, and unfortunately all the walls don't have separate IDs in this file, but it's got the IDs there. It's got the area of the wall, the length of the reference line, the assigned fire rating, and the assigned sound rating, acoustical rating. Now, what can be changed and what can't be changed? Okay, we have got now. We click on the line, so we want to find a bit more about this wall here, Sana 03. Which what we could do here is we could actually go through tidying some of this up. So maybe we want to start numbering these walls, give every wall a separate ID. We can actually go through here and start changing the wall names or the wall ID. We just go through this first 10, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and we'll make this one 10. Okay, so we've got those walls. We've got the area, which is obviously a calculation, so we can't change that. The length of the reference line, which is again a calculation, and we can't change that. And then we've got the fire rating. So if we know exactly which wall that is, we can come in here and actually change the fire rating. Same with the sound rating. Now, one other thing we can do is we can then go from here and we can go and find that wall on the floor plan. So we just choose the line that we want and then click select on floor plan, and it comes down here, and this is in our case Sana 01. And if we find that, yeah, here's the element ID, so that's Sana 01. And if we, what did we just do? We didn't change anything else in that wall. So now if we go back to the wall schedule, and I shall show you here. So if we open up that wall and come down here to the properties, if we look at the fire rating, we've got 25 minutes fire rating on this wall. Okay. Now, if we come back to the schedule, we can say, well, actually, hold on, that wall doesn't need any fire rating, so we're going to turn the fire rating off and come back. Again, we can do it this way. Sorry, not there. There, find it, and if we open that wall now, you'll see that that's been turned off. Go out of that. So we can go through and do that, to whatever we want, basically. Now, what can and what can't be changed? Well, obviously the calculations. Oh no, sorry, don't worry about that one for now. This is more about the spreadsheet one. So, so that's the basics of the schedule itself within ArchiCAD. Now, if we want to work, say, with an outside consultant or we have a lot of processing of information to do on certain aspects. And what we'll do now is we'll go and set up a schedule for doors. But first of all, if we go to the options and we'll property manager, where can we put something? Oh God, I'll just add some. I'll just add some random English ones for now, so we can understand what we're doing. So if we go, I'm going to set up a new. So now what we want to do now is I'm going to do a door schedule. So if we set up a, we'll create some properties to say what sort of door handle it has, whether it has a kick plate, and maybe the fire rating. We've got the fire rating of the door, so maybe the was it the glass type. So just bear with me as we just set up some parameters. So we'll just go new. So that's a new property. So we want, well, actually no, we can put here, we'll create a new group so we know what we're doing. It's all in English. So if we go door hardware, what they've done here, we'll in caps, door hardware. Okay, where did that go? Down the bottom. I think we can move that up. No. Okay, so now if we go next one, we'll leave that where it is, and if we go say handle, door hardware. Okay, now we can customize this. So what sort of data do we want to put in here? General, so that's like a name or something, an integer, so we're talking about numbers and stuff here, a list of tags, or option set, or a true false thing. So when an element either has something or it doesn't have it, well, we can use the true false. But in this case, maybe we're going to choose from 3 or 4 different door handle types. So if we go, I'm great here. So we'll go option 1, option 2, and option 3. Now these could be brand names for different types of door hardware, Negi and Abloy, whatever else we want to use there. So we can also set a default option. So we'll just say option 1 is the default. And then we can also allow multiple choices, but we'll just go single choice for now. And then we can put a description in here. So if we say that's the say type of door handle hardware. Now, what do we want to assign this to? So we'll go custom, edit, and choose in here, and obvi. So we want to put it onto doors only. Okay, so let's go OK. So now we've got the option of door handles on doors. New property will be a lock. Now, door hardware, go OK. Now what we could do with this one, we could just do true false, because either the door's got a lock or hasn't got a lock. Yeah, we go custom, edit, obvi, OK. And maybe, that'll do for now. We only need a couple of elements. So we go OK. Right. So now we'll go through and we shall create our door schedule. So if we go, where's our schedules? Down here, elements. I'm going to go new schedule. And we'll call this one just DS01, door schedule 01, D door schedule. And it's a new scheme, elements. Okay. Right, so what are we going to want? We're going to want to find all types of door. And we also want to find only the doors on this story. So home story is 01 gallery, so it's doors on 01 gallery. Okay, so what do we want to find out? So let's go The door. So we want to know if we've got zones set up, we can actually label the door from which zone it's going from to which zone it's going to, which is very handy. Although we'll forget that for now. We want its ID. Where would you find its ID? General, maybe. Element ID. So we'll put its element ID so we know which doors we're looking at. And then we'll come down here and let's say its nominal size, width times height. So we can check what that is. And then we want to come down and add in this door hardware stuff. So what its handle, what its lock is. Being a door, we might need some fire rating and some acoustical rating. So now if we go OK, that should give us a schedule of doors. Okay, so now here we've got all our doors listed on the left hand side here. The nominal size, second column, its handle down here, whether it's got a lock or not, fire rating and acoustical rating. So again, we want to go and find out. So we've got a few OB10s. So let's just say we just fixed a few of these up, made them in order for now, and let's see where we're going. It's actually always a good idea to be numbering doors as we go. Easy to find eventually. We need to. 7, 8. Right, so if we now go and have a look, so what we can do, so door number 1, actually one other thing we can do on the door setting is very handy sometimes, is we can show a elevation. View from opening side. Just take a few moments. So now it's added in a column here, a view from opening side, and unfortunately the doors are too big for the line width. So if we want to, we can come in here and we can change the line type. Oh, here we go, row heights. So we can change the row height. So maybe we give that a 20 millimeter. Not quite enough for the looks, so we'll make it 25 millimeters. Righto, so now we've got a nice little door schedule here to look at. Picture of the door on the right hand side, so we know what doors we're looking at. Its size here, we can't change that, it's already set. Okay, now we come to its handle. So what do we got? Option 1, option 2, or option 3, so we can change that there. So let's say option 2. And whether it's got a lock, so maybe this one has a lock. And maybe it's not fire rated and it hasn't got any acoustical rating. Now we want to see where that door actually was. So if we've got this row selected, so if we go here, so that's that door there. So no, that's into that classroom. So as we think, okay, maybe hold on, we need that door to be fire rated. So we'll give it a 25-minute fire rating back again. Eventually when it changes, we can go and have a look at that door. Okay, so now we'll go back, found that door in the schedule, in the plan, sorry, and then we can open this up. And let's see what's happened in our classifications. So our doors become 25 minutes fire rated. and the handle's option 2, and it has a lock. So we go, okay, that's cool. Righto, so now we're going to do something a little bit more complicated. So you're not going to work on the schedule yourself, one of your co-workers or a consultant is. We're going to send it out to maybe we're going to send it out to the guys at AW2 who will prepare a schedule for us. So we've got the schedule all set up. We've got the information that they need. Now we can then go in here and we'll go File, Interoperability, and Classifications and Properties. Now we want to export these property values from the schedule. So we click on that, and it prompts us where we want it, what we want to do with it. So we can save it in Excel. We can even change the scheme that we are exporting in here if we really want to. So we'll give it a name. So we'll leave it as it is, door schedule property values, and we'll go save. Now, if we open that door schedule property values in Excel, it brings up a list of what we've just exported. So what can we do? So we can come through here, and any of this information that is a property that we've assigned to an element in our classification manager. Hold on, I'll show you where. So anything that we have set up in here in the property manager is able to be manipulated in a spreadsheet and then brought back into ArchiCAD. So now if we want to go and change locks, so just say we know that, change the doors, the handles. So we know that, say those first 3 doors are all got option 2. And then the next ones are option 3. And leave those ones as option 1, and then maybe last number 10 can be option 2 as well. Okay, so which ones have got locks? Now the thing you have to remember is that these answers, the values in these cells that we can change, need to be excuse me, need to be valid as per the option settings that we've set up in here. So it can only be option 1, 2, or 3. If you put an option 4 in there with the option pull down, it will not give you, it won't let you import properly. The way around that is if we don't have those options, if it's just we're going to send it out to a door scheduler and they're going to put the door hardware in, we can just have chosen, we go back to the property manager, come down here, instead of an option set, we could have just chosen general. So anything that we've chosen as general will then would come back in as just the text that's entered in the spreadsheet. So we'll go back to the spreadsheet, and we'll change sort of every second one here and give it a lock. And we'll change some of these. So we had 25, we had, say, 60, and 60, and 30. And we'll put some decibels. So we'll put, oops, what was in there? We'll put 30. And 5 there. And 30. Okay, so if we'll now save this schedule, so we'll save, okay, and we close out of that. Now if we come back here and just remember what was showing a line here, so we've got just option 2 and then all option 1s and then all 25-minute fire ratings and 0 decibel sound ratings. So if we come back now to file, interoperability, classifications and import property values, was that one there, wasn't it? Okay, so here's the problem, is that we don't have a 30 or a 55 decibel option in our acoustical ratings. I thought we did, so hold on. Sorry, it's 30 and 60, righto. What does that change? So if we go back to the, sorry about this, we'll go back to the schedule. Enable editing. So I'll make that. $25. There we go. 35 and 50, right? So no wonder we're getting confused there. Right, so if we go back there, so we'll go 35, 50, 35, and just double check that they were our options. 35, 50, okay, cool. Now if we save that, and again, we'll try and import file, interoperability, classifications and properties, import property files, and bang, where are we? Door, schedule, property values. Okay, so we've got no problems this time. It's telling us everything is clean. So if we just go import, oh, excuse me, and we'll wait while that updates. Successfully imported. Okay, so now we've got door 1, handle option 2, it's got a lock, 25-minute fire rating, 35 decibel sound rating. Door 2, option 2, no lock, 60 minutes fire rating, 50 decibel sound, and so on. So all those changes we've made to the first 10 doors have all come through from the spreadsheet. So this is really, really great if we've got, like, especially with the hospitals that we're working with, we've got doors that have all sorts of different attributes like electronic opening and push button opening, locks, no locks, types of handles, whatever else that we have in regards to a hospital door. So we can just export that out into Excel, sit down with Excel, so the person doesn't even need to have ArchiCAD, and they can go through and modify all the parameters and then bring it back into the model. So now if we were to go back into our model, we'll see here is our doors. If we, where have they come from? Doors. Okay, we'll go back to this AW2 and all its settings are down here. So 25 minutes fire rating, 35 decibels, and the lock and handle in there. Let's see where these other doors were from. So if we go there and show, okay, AW2. Okay, so this is the other option of the floor. So yeah, that's how we use schedules. Another way is, you know, if we're again looking for all the basins, toilets, whatever, calculating areas. So if we wanted to work out the floor areas from different materials, this one isn't really set up with a lot of materials or finishes yet, so it's not great to show anything on the surfaces. But this is basically the same process to create schedules for wall finishes, floor finishes. So it could sort of say, we've got tiles, floors, specify the type of tile, and how many square feet, all that sort of stuff. It's very good even for sharing data with suppliers and subcontractors that need to create schedules. It's probably more accurate than going through the model and trying to count everything. If we model accurately and do everything correctly, all the information is in the model, so it's there for us to use and to share to make everything more accurate in the end for our clients. So thanks once again for joining us in the BIM Jedi Masterclass. I hope we've given you some tips there on how to use the schedules, how to get the best out of them. They are a really good way of trying to find stuff when you're working through fine-tuning a project, making sure everything's correct, rather than scanning the file itself, the 3D model, and looking for things that are out of place. Join us again next week, and we will be looking at good modeling practices, things that make our job a bit easier and more accurate, save us doing some of the 2D stuff that we quite often do to try and get a result because we've been in a hurry. So once again, thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll see you same time, same place next week. Cheers. Bye.